And it's not that old, Corey. It was made in 1982.
No, 82. 5 years before I was born. And I'm getting gray hair now, so I think that's considered old at this point.
Go check out the Horror, Philosophy, and Culture podcast, Scary Thoughts. Co-hosts Mark Cate and Chad Locke cover classic and auteur horror films, going deep while keeping the conversation light. You'll laugh, you'll learn, you'll spend more time than you ever imagined listening to two nerds talk about obscure ideas and weird films. To listen, go over to iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, or wherever you receive your dark sermons from the cursed minds of the damned. This week, unsurprisingly, we talk more Destiny. In Star Wars news, it's Return of the JJ. In video games, it's the Nintendo Roundup. Comics, we talk a lot of Hellboy this week. And we do a spotlight on a YouTube community member, Bad to the Bone. Finally, it's the Preacher Extravaganza. After the Preacher Season 2 has wrapped up, we're going to go full spoilers on the Preacher at the end of the show. So here we go. Mixed with the Wookiee yell, as usual. Hey everybody, this is Comically Gaming, episode 70. Good to see you guys.
What's up?
What up?
Big week here.
Big week.
Yeah, what Corey, you kick it off this week.
Woo!
What you got?
Yeah.
All right. So this week, well, I guess I watched Preacher finale. Yeah.
So
Right?
we're gonna end this
The bomb.
episode with the Preacher Extravaganza.
Yeah.
Man.
So
I mean, just me and Dirk, because
Yeah.
he's stoked.
I've been busy. I'm gonna watch it. Absolutely gonna watch it. It's like my favorite thing. So, second favorite thing. But yeah.
Yeah.
That finale is something, man.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Pretty crazy. We'll get into that though later. Other than that, I was just at a wedding for 2 days, so I've been on a break from video games. But before that, just been playing the shit out of Destiny.
Okay, pause. I was waiting for see how long it would take for somebody to mention Destiny 2. It's not gonna be top of because the show this week, but obviously we got a lot to talk about with Destiny. So let's pause and have a Destiny conversation here.
I'm a delayed entry. That's why. I mean, mainly, you know. So,
Yeah.
but I fell in love with Destiny this week. So
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
You did.
It's
I didn't
funny,
know
I was talking to Corey on the phone earlier today, and you kind of gave me perspective. And I've been listening to a lot of other podcasts and whatnot, also of people who, for whatever reason, missed Destiny 1, and talking about how it really, elitist is the wrong word, but there's this whole kind of community that's pretty hardcore, and as soon as you start talking about Destiny, you switch into this different language that people who aren't into the game don't get or whatnot.
Yep.
And so it kind of puts this barrier up to people that aren't used to it, and I'm glad I was able to break through that barrier and get you involved.
Yeah.
'cause
no,
I
I mean,
Yeah.
y'all did a good job. What happened is I had like 3 or 4 games to trade in. And so I was like cycling through, and I was like, I'll find the time to play with them somehow. So I just said, fuck it, I'm going for it. And then, dude, at that point, once you start like breaking into it and playing it, it's finding, you don't have trouble like finding time. It's like you have trouble like finding time for anything else but that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, shit. I'm like trying to think like, when am I gonna play it now?
I know.
You know?
I'm 100% with you. I started before Destiny came out. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna play it so much this time. I'm really digging Persona
that
right
conversation.
now. I'm gonna do all this other stuff, and then as soon as it hit, it's like, boom, no, I'm done. I'm in the middle of that dungeon in Persona, and I don't give a shit because all I care about right now is when's the next chance to happen to
Well,
Destiny.
you had that little lapse where I had to
I know, for like 2
reach
days.
out on Discord. I don't know if I'm feeling it this time.
I remember that.
Oh,
I'm not feeling the grind.
Then I played
No.
one night and you were right back on it.
So
I
there's
haven't
okay. So yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
I haven't. It's been a long time since I've played a game where I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I think I'll just jump on Destiny and play for a while.
Yeah.
What's up? You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh,
As
yeah.
far as like that little lapse that I had, Corey, that was I had just finished the campaign, right? And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't really feel like just grinding again. And
Yeah.
then what I came to realize through my buddies who got me into playing the game every other night or whatever again is that this game, it's not a grind. And without going into spoilers, because again next week we're going to have the Destiny 2 story spoiler segment.
Now I can be in it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so without going into spoilers, in Destiny 1, when you completed all of the single player, or not single player, but the campaign content, then you would literally have to just fly around these environments on your Sparrow, killing enemies endlessly, hoping that an event would pop. There was no timer or way to tell unless you went to like some third-party website. And it really was a grind. It was boring. The environments, there wasn't stuff to do in them other than just find enemies and shoot them. And
Yeah.
In this, with Destiny 2, like the whole talk coming into this from the developers was that no, the patrols are awesome now. The patrols are awesome now. And I was like, yeah, I don't believe it. And I tell you what, the patrols are fucking awesome now. The little side missions and stuff that you can go do are fully voiced by the main characters in the game. They feel like they really add a lot to it. The little treasure hunts with the icons on the map and whatnot, with the little symbols and whatnot, those are great. And so it's just.
Well, the patrols are the same themselves, the actual patrols that you unlock.
Right.
But there's just so much more to do.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
The things you can do in those open areas it's like exponentially better for that. So it's like it doesn't feel like a grind to me. It feels like I'm just doing more and more game stuff. So
that's the way to do it. Yeah, it sucks because when I got it, I was waiting for you to complete the campaign, and I was dying to play, so I got up to the light level. By the time when I completed the campaign, none of that shit's dropping anything for me. So it kind of, you did it the right way, where you completed the campaign, every little side quest and everything brings up your light. Where if I'd like, those missions are fun and it's fun to do them because they're new missions, but they're not giving me shit. I mean, so except for the exotic missions, those are cool. How there's a different one on each planet. Those are, I'm running through those. And,
I do gotta tell you, Corey, when me and Jeff and Dirk played last night through Dirk's story run, two exotic engrams popped for me.
Mm-hmm.
Exotics?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they drop for anything. That's why I was saying I'm still down to play with you guys tonight because I need an exotic engram for one of the exotic missions. Like the one that I have to decode 5 legendary engrams and 1 exotic, and I'm waiting for that exotic to pop. And then I have to decode 5 scout rifle, or break down 5 scout rifles. So I need that. And then I need glimmer. I'm glimmer poor. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think there's 2 things that really sold it for me. One, and this is without going into any story or content or anything else, but number one, it's not competitive. It's a teamwork thing.
Yeah.
And it's just so different having people working towards one goal than it is fighting each other. You know?
You're so used to first-person shooters being competitive. That's what makes Destiny so sweet. It's just a team game, not a...
Yeah, it enhances that social content. Like, everybody's sort of, mapping out where to go, all this other stuff. And then number 2, it's just a visually fucking gorgeous game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, beautiful. Those landscapes are just phenomenal. I was just thinking, like, wow, I'm sober and enjoying this.
Yeah.
I really liked this in the sequel. They really doubled down on kind of the 70s sci-fi paper book
I love
artwork.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, a lot more
yeah.
plant life too.
Yeah, absolutely. The pinks on Nessus and the on IO, all the greens and whatnot.
Yellows
I
and
really
greens,
like that.
yeah.
They almost, to be honest, took a page from No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Everybody talked
Oh,
about
very
how much
much
they like
so.
that.
Very much
so.
so.
I think
So I
they
was
were
wondering.
listening.
So the first one wasn't like that in
No,
terms of colors.
it's
It wasn't.
gray.
No, it's gray.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's
it was
gray,
very
gray.
dismal, and I think that's sort of why I didn't play it as long as I did, because I just felt depressed playing it. I'm like, this
So I never
sucks.
Yeah.
felt depressed playing.
No, it felt like
Yeah,
No
but you
Man's
played with
Sky in
people,
terms of
Corey.
visuals.
I played it solo the whole time because I didn't know what I was doing.
Oh yeah, that's the thing with Destiny. That's what my buddy was saying. Even the Crucible, he's saying he can't blend in. He doesn't like the small teams, and every part of Destiny is meant to be played with the team. The
Yep.
story missions, the strikes, the patrols, even Crucible. They're small teams, small maps, and that's for a reason, so that you don't have snipers off in the distance just killing people. It's meant to be playing with your friends as a team and working
Right.
together. So they keep it small. Like everything's meant to be played with other people in that game. It's not a solo game. You can do the story solo and you can do certain things solo, but that's not what you're supposed to do. It's
Then you
not
can
what it's built for.
set up and waste that boss with a rocket launcher when he's in mid jump and just
That was
Yeah.
I finally figured out about how to jump. Actually,
oh, thank God.
It's crazy, isn't it? When that happens, it took me like 3 or 4 days too. Where I was playing with Corey one night, and I'm like, "Look, how the hell does this warlock jump?
yeah,
I got to
Yeah.
figure this out because I don't know what I'm doing."
it's like a slight hesitation on that
Yes.
second, but
Yeah.
that second jump.
What, Dirk was tripping it?
He
Oh,
was.
God.
He was
Dude, I
dying
kept
a
falling
lot.
in the
Starting
same
it down.
hole,
We almost
Starting
renamed it
it down.
Dirk.
5-6 times.
Dirk, that's, yeah, but fun.
We did name the random events where you had to stand inside the circle.
Oh, dude.
That's the circle, Dirk.
That is the circle jerk.
Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that attempt.
Our big thing with Mashers, though, me, JD, and Bubba Buns took on the Nightfall Strike as Mashers. That was the shit. That was my big Destiny moment of the week. Last week was tough, and I was kind of hating on the timer because it was so hard. But after being able to beat it this week, I'm really, really liking the timer. It makes it way more intense.
You stepped into Destiny speak. Translate that to English a little bit.
Well, what with the
What's a strike and what's a timer do?
the strikes are like 3-player
Dungeons.
hard dungeons basically, with the big boss at the end. And you have to run through do certain things throughout it. Yeah, it's just basically a dungeon with 3 people. At the end, there's a big boss, and you get usually good rewards at the end. And
So what's a nightfall?
the Nightfall, it steps it up a notch. In Destiny 1, well, first, all the enemies are heroic, so it's just like hard mode. Makes everybody more powerful. And then there's always modifiers that, like if you would get shot in the air, you would take more damage. And certain weapon types, like fire, ice, or electric, would do different types, do more damage. But in the first one, you had as much time as you wanted to get through it. So what everyone would do is find a spot in the final boss room, like under a ramp or something, where you can't get hit by the boss, and then everybody would sit under the ramp for a half hour, pegging away at the boss until he died, and that would be that.
It was boring, but you get good rewards.
You get good shit, but it was boring. And in the new one, it's the same thing. It has all the enemies are way harder. It has this prism thing where your weapon type, like whether it's arc, void, or solar, it switches every 30 seconds which one actually does damage. So
Oh, wow.
Can I pause you for just 1 second? There is a weapon called the Borealis,
Yeah.
It's PlayStation exclusive, and you hit
That
the square
switches
button and it
types.
switches types. Yes.
Be a really good
Wow.
protocol. That's what it's
Wow.
meant for, obviously. So it has that, which makes it really hard, and you can't just switch your weapon because you lose all your ammo. So you have to you make what you want to do is have your secondary weapon one type, your heavy weapon a different type, and then your super or whatever a different type. So you alternate in what types of, whether you're using your secondary weapon, your heavy weapon, or your abilities every 30 seconds. Otherwise, you're not doing shit for damage. And then you have 10 minutes to complete the whole thing. And there's the first week, the only way to get more time added on would be to kill enemies. You get 2 seconds for a weak enemy or 7 seconds for a hard enemy. And we weren't really that highlight. We had, I think JD was still 265 and me and Jeff were 270 something. And it was real tough. We almost got it a couple times. But then this week came out, we all upped our light a little bit, and the new thing, the way to get time is to get through these, you had to jump through these rings, and it would give you 30 extra seconds, and then they would pop up.
Nice.
They'd pop up for like 30 seconds and disappear, so you'd have to try to get through as many as you can in that time without getting killed, because there's always a shitload of enemies around them, and that would add more time. So it took us maybe 7 or 8 tries, but once we finally got it, I really like the timer. It just really adds to the intensity. You can't hide, and when you finally beat it, it's so much more satisfying. Like, because the whole thing is it's a rush, and that timer just makes it, go, and you're freaking out when you only have a few minutes left, and then you get down to the wires, take them out, and you're like, yes. So it's a really good time. So
Next week. Save it for next week.
Save what for next week?
Yeah, that's not stories. That's not story stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're not spoiling.
No.
Just telling the mechanics.
Mechanics.
But so now we got to get the raid done. That'll be next for the mashers.
Yep.
That'll be a while.
I just want to throw it out there. Anybody who listens to our show, our Discord's pretty hot and heavy right now with the Mashers channel on there. And if you listen to our show and you do not have a clan, you're more than welcome to join the Midnight Mashers. That's what we are. Search for Midnight Mashers. And we take everybody. We are a totally casual group, and we're all about helping people experience the fun of it.
Altruistic.
We're not one of these hardcore people that want to jump on and do the raid in 20 minutes every week, and we're mad at you if you can't do that. So
Yeah, we're not WoW players.
Yeah. We have players of all level types, and we're all willing to help people. And smashers are a good group.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
So hit us up
Here
in the
for
clans
you.
there if you play Destiny on PS4. We're a PS4 group pretty much exclusively. Yep.
So
All right. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Jeff?
Yeah.
You didn't talk
That's
a lot in there. And you got anything else?
I couldn't get around Corey because he's so passionate about it. I was playing the hell out of some Destiny, and I played some Everybody's Golf.
well,
getting
my
better.
week's not done. I was just Destiny.
Just Destiny. You
We're
gotta hear
talking
about
Just
Destiny.
Destiny.
Oh, Destiny. Oh, geez. No, I'll wait for next week.
All right.
There you go.
All right. Cool.
I have one more thing
Yeah, go.
to
and then
say
I got
about
one
it.
more too, but yeah, go.
I hope other developers are looking at this game and saying, hey, like, let's do this, but do it in a fantasy setting, or let's do this.
Yeah.
I want to be able to play this game in other formats and other variations on it.
Hopefully
so
it's the Avengers.
yeah, exactly. I just hope
All
that
right.
somebody else, like, people are watching and taking notes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I just want to say, Dirk, me and you and Jeff last night, like,
That was
to me,
epic.
That's the jam for me, is playing through those story missions with my
2:30.
buddies. Like, yeah, I just love that whole kind of feel to that, where you're just kind of cruising through a foreign planet, taking down aliens, and with your bros. You know what I mean?
It was
Like,
awesome.
Yeah, I don't.
Bonding.
Yeah,
Bonding
totally
experience.
bonding.
And Dirk in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at it.
Yeah,
Look,
that's
and then Corey said, he was like, if I'm back at 3 or 4 a.m., hit me up. And Jeff was like, man, we're way too old
Yeah.
for that. And yet,
We were up
We
till
stayed
3.
up till 2:30. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Which would have been 3 his time. Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
So
All right.
breaking the law.
All right,
Oh
Corey.
yeah, time difference.
Sorry. How was the rest
Go,
of your
Corey.
week?
How was your
All
week?
right. So yeah. Yep. Everybody's golf. I just played that. Fucking, what did I get? 13 under.
Still
Pretty
second
weak.
place. Second
Yeah.
place.
No, Nate beat me. Adam beat me. You beat me.
Yeah, but overall second place.
Yeah, overall second. So
Sure.
yeah, not too bad. It's a long season. I went in cold like I knew I was gonna. I played one warm up, which I was doing pretty good on. Then I hit it in the water, and I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm just gonna play my my match. So then I played the match, and then I hit it in the water in my official round too, and that fucked me over. I would have been 15 under. It was on 17, so that sucked.
I hate
But
that.
I went out of bounds on an all birdie run.
yeah, so
Yeah.
the next week I'm gonna get a couple hours in at least before I do my official round. I can't fuck up my position in the league anymore.
All right.
And then I bought 2 games in the sale this week. There's a good sale going on. They got a lot of stuff on there. I bought Dishonored, which I haven't played yet. If I like it, I want to get the second one, but I never played the first one. So
It's pretty good. I mean, yeah.
A lot of people, my buddy at work acts like it's one of his favorite games ever. He keeps telling me to play it, so I want to try it out. And then if I like it, I'll get the new one. That seems like that's on sale all the time.
Yep.
And then I got Nier Automata, which I've been waiting to go on sale for a while now, and got a couple hours into that. A few hours probably, and that's really awesome. That's what I've been playing today. I haven't even turned on Destiny yet, actually, because I got all everything done that I can for the week to get my good shit. So I've been playing Nier, and it's
Like it?
really awesome. Yeah, I really like it so far. It's just a good. It's not like anything I've played in a while. I mean, it's big world game. It's basically a hack and slash mixed with like shooting, and how it switches from top-down shooter to side-scrolling to just third person running around the world, and you play an android girl, and it's just, I won't go into the story too much, but it's really cool. The environments are awesome. The fighting is really great. It's like flawless almost. It seems like it's unlike Final Fantasy where you try and do stuff and it just didn't seem like it worked. This seems like it plays exactly the way it should, and if you do it right, it's dodging everything just works perfectly, and it's really fun. The story seems really sweet so far. I'm really digging it. Everybody said it was good, so I've been waiting for it, and I really lived up to its hype so far.
So, in as usual, we're like way behind as far as new releases go, and I've heard a lot of people talk about this game. The one thing that everybody says is the whole game you get through in like 6 or 8 hours, but you actually have to play the game, I think it's 5 or 6 times, and then each time that you play it, it changes the story until like the end, like something totally crazy happens. So it's like that's what, like, you get a trophy like the 6th time that you beat it, and everybody says that it gets totally mindfuck nuts once you get into the 5th and 6th playthrough of it. So
really,
I'm stoked to try it out one of these times. That, and I feel like once The Last Guardian drops on sale, then I've played every game from last year that I missed that I really care about.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I'm gonna grab that up as soon as that goes on sale too. So, but yeah, really liking it. And that was it. Been reading some more Lost Stars. I gotta be almost through that. Just been reading that here and there, but I think that was all I did this week.
Cool.
Sweet.
All right, John, now you can go.
I'm sorry, I got so sidetracked on Destiny that I thought we were just moving. I spoiled it. So yeah, just Destiny 2, everybody's golf, getting better on that. Watch some movies from homework, including Nate's movies that he posted in Discord. The ones you posted in Discord.
Which one?
The trailers?
Yeah. Later on. No, I watched Gran Torino and I watched Django Unchained.
That was your first time watching Django?
No, I've seen it
Okay.
before. It was just
Yeah.
more to watch it from a
I
different.
love both those movies.
Yep.
Really good.
Yeah.
And now with the hype of Blade Runner 2049, I'm gonna have to pull out my copy of it and watch it, and I'll probably see it when I'm in Vegas in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
Nice.
so we've kind of talked a little bit today, and we're going to up our Blade Runner coverage. So
Okay.
I think next week we'll have a Blade Runner 1 discussion.
All right.
And then, and I, to be honest, a not spoilery one, but just kind of the whole feel of that movie and stuff. Again, it's been too long since I watched it. And
It has
Corey,
been.
you've never watched it, right?
Right.
So
Yeah, we won't talk about
The
that.
trailer
Yeah.
looks good, man.
And it's not that old, Corey. It was made in 1982.
Well, 82. 5 years before I was born. And I'm getting gray hair now, so I think that's considered old at this point.
I think a movie's from '73. Yeah.
So I'll watch Blade Runner.
I just want to say before you go too far, Django Unchained, my second favorite Tarantino movie after
dude.
Pulp Fiction. I feel like super duper great. In particular, the way that they showed the brutality of slavery in the
Yes.
South. You know, not too many movies get that right. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I feel like that movie did for sure. And then short of
did.
just, no spoilers, but the costumes that he's wearing
Yeah.
at some points, so badass.
Yeah.
So
Well,
badass,
it was so like callback to spaghetti westerns. I mean, I
Yeah.
could see Clint Eastwood doing those roles.
Cartoon spaghetti
It-
western.
Yeah.
Well, it was more of it was a spaghetti western with a black slave revenge fantasy thrown together.
Sure.
And Leo's disgusting in it. I love it.
Yeah,
I love
no,
how, I
it
love
was-
how vile he is.
And
Don
who's
Johnson
who's the
was
German
the-
guy? Yeah, Don Johnson's great. Yeah, Don
Yeah,
Johnson's great.
Big Daddy.
Yeah.
And,
Where has Don Johnson been since or after? But he fucking was awesome in that movie. And then who's the German guy?
I
Can
can't
you know
remember his name.
Man,
I
he's
can't.
so good.
Dirk
Christoph
will put it in the
Waltz.
comments.
Yeah.
Christoph Waltz.
Yep. What a great acting job.
He's
for sure.
great.
And then what
But
was
I
the other
noticed.
Yeah.
Well,
Gran
Gran Torino,
Gran Torino.
Clint Eastwood.
one? Yeah.
Get off my lawn.
Dude, that movie is so good. That's
So,
just-
I don't feel like we have time to go into the whole thing here, but
No.
interesting, the guy who wrote that is from St. Paul.
Yep.
And,
Ah.
Jeff, you and I know that, Minnesota and Wisconsin, there's more Hmong people than anywhere else in the world, even in where they're from.
even North Carolina and California.
Yeah, right, that too, yes. But, funny that one of those things where we talked last week about the movie companies making the artists change their vision, that they put it in Detroit, even though, it should have been in St. Paul. There's no Hmong people in Detroit. I can tell you that. I never heard the word Hmong until I moved to the Twin Cities.
Well,
And,
I thought it was interesting it was filmed in Michigan because I'm looking at the houses and I'm looking at, Clint Eastwood's house and I'm like, it could have been filmed here in St. Paul.
for sure.
'Cause
That's the Midwest.
Yeah, that's the Midwest house style. And it was really good movie to watch again. I love that movie. And I don't know how many people pick up that Clint Eastwood is singing the Gran Torino song at the end of the movie.
Right.
Oh.
That is Clint Eastwood singing because he can sing. He's done musicals in the past.
Wow.
He did a movie called Play Misty for Me where he's a DJ on the radio.
Nice.
And he was,
I want to know why you have time to rewatch movies when you're not Max Light and Destiny.
I had to do it for homework. It's a film class for school, so.
It's true. It's homework for him.
All right.
But I've been killing.
That's
Once we get to a college class that teaches Destiny, then we'll.
Yeah.
That's
Maybe we
heaven.
should make a college class.
Yeah.
Other than that, I haven't read anything this week except for really shitty sociology and film papers. And, well, I won't even talk about those.
All
All
right.
right.
Man.
Cool.
Yeah.
Dirk?
Sweet. Let's see. Beat everybody's golf. Got to
Nice.
level 7. Credits
Hardcore,
rolled.
man.
End of level 6, I guess. So custom clubs available, although it's gonna be hard as shit, except for Adam apparently. But everybody else, I guess like if you win one course, you get one gem, and I think to make modifications on your clubs takes like 20 gems a piece.
Wow.
So now you play people, so they might give out more gems. I don't remember what Adam said, but It's cool. There's a lot of great options. Like you'll be able to change the sound of your clubs. Like when you tee off, there's like crazy, weird sound options you can do.
I got a Happy Gilmore one.
Huh?
Have a Happy Gilmore one. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let me ask you. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like two things. First of all, Adam went crazy about microtransactions. Have you felt that at all? Second of all, I feel like you guys were complaining about the shortness of the single player aspect of that game, and I feel like, fuck, I'm a third of the way through it, and it feels long as hell to me. Like,
me too.
just comparing it to previous Hot Shots, or what?
Well, yes, I'm comparing it to previous because I think World Invitational, there was something like 36 courses, and not just ones that you beat and get content for at the end when you get clothes or whatever the hell. Like you have to you can't advance until you beat that course. You know what I'm saying? You don't get any XP like it does now, because eventually you could just keep going. Coming in like 10th every time you play a course, and eventually you'll get to a versus person anyway, right?
Right.
That couldn't happen in the old one. You had to beat that course, no matter how fucking hard it was. So that's why it felt a lot shorter, just because you could kind of breeze or at least get to your versus characters a lot quicker. But
So it was like a soccer trophy.
Yeah, I do like that. Now we're sort of, once you flip it and get to the end, there is that aspect of now, sort of wide open, and you can just play sort of according to how quickly you want to play it,
Right.
and not have that time limit that's sort of built in. But the microtransactions, the only way, it's sort of, it's there as an option, but it's like they'll give you the gems if you want to pay for them, but nobody's going to want to pay for that.
What do the gems do for you?
They give you club alterations. So you would have a set of custom clubs. Like you could put points in your power or your control or whatever, and have your own set instead of using the presets that are in the game.
Sure. So, when I think of microtransactions and where people have problems with them, if you were a big online player and you were playing against people who had dumped $100 into gems,
that would be a problem.
A disadvantage.
Yeah, that would be a problem. If people did that. I don't know. Do people? I don't even know if people do that. Do they do it in other games?
Yes, they do.
People do that.
Wow.
Yes, they do.
That's the problem
I guess
with microtransactions to some extent. That's how,
Yeah.
Whatever.
So you would have to make it a thing
I'm going to buy a bunch of gems once I beat it so I can take out Adam.
Right? Me too. I'm going to dump like $50 in the gems so that I can take out exactly.
That would be worth it.
That would be
Adam,
worth
if you're listening, that would definitely be worth it.
I'm sure you're listening.
No, it's cool though. I'm glad that we're there, and beating the game or whatever doesn't matter shit in the league when I'm like third or fourth place anyway. So
right. So I'll just throw that out there real quick too. We talked about the Destiny, about the Mashers. We do have a Everybody's Golf League. If anybody's interested in joining, shoot us an email, hit us up on Twitter, whatever you want to do. We'll get you involved.
Sweet. Just two more things. Well, one more thing. I won't talk about Destiny. I'll keep it for next week. Finished Preacher. And we'll talk about this at the end of the episode tonight, but it was, just incredible. And that last episode just exploded, and I don't think anybody was prepared for it. So
Can't wait.
I think that's it. Oh, and I'm reading Ready Player One, kind of flying through it.
Where you at now?
He just, let's see.
Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler. Book spoiler.
Spoil
He just beat a Sararak at Joust.
Oh, okay.
All right, good enough. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't say anything else.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So with my week, I did want to, this wasn't a part of this week, but last week I talked about how we beat Vermintide, and I just want to put a pin in Vermintide. The Vermintide, I just want to throw it out there for anybody who's watching or listening to this show. if you liked Left 4 Dead, Vermintide is must play. Right, Corey?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it is absolutely awesome for the exact same reasons in a really great game. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I don't
Sweet.
feel like
Check it
I
out.
stressed that enough in all the Vermintide talk we've had. I think I'll probably never talk about Vermintide again on the show. I'll probably never play it again. But if you like Left 4 Dead, it's must play for sure. Red Bitch Planet issues 3, 4, and 5. So I'm halfway to that. Bitch Planet's gonna be our comic book club. The next one we have, which will be episode 72. Any of you guys reading any of that yet?
Which one?
Bitch Planet.
Bitch Planet.
I just got it today.
Okay,
in the mail.
so the one thing that I will say to everybody, without spoiling anything, is it's absolutely required to read the stuff at the end. So they do like 5 or 6 different things where they'll do like essays, and then they do letters, and then they have
okay.
artwork where they take like old 50s style comic book ads and change them all to super feminist stuff. So like the X-ray goggles ad is all like, see what this asshole's intentions really are tonight, instead of like see-through
Right.
clothes or whatever. Like, yeah, totally
awesome.
cool stuff. So I just wanted to impress you guys that to get the full Bitch Planet experience, you have to read that stuff at the end. And
Yeah, I'm excited.
they also get pretty deep on like their thoughts about writing the comics that you just read and whatnot as well. So it's really cool stuff. So anyway,
You remember the
just wanted to throw it
team
out there.
on it? You know
What's
who's
that?
doing it? Who's the team on it? You remember?
I don't. I don't think they've done anything else that I've read in comics, to
Okay.
be honest. So yeah, that's your forte. I just like to read them, enjoy them. So yeah, everybody's golf Destiny 2. I won't talk about those. Dragon's Crown. So I've been playing a lot of Dragon's Crown on my Vita. That's my new like in the bed playing before I pass out for 10 or 15 minutes. It used to be Pokemon. Now it's moved on to Dragon's Crown. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Dragon's Crown later in this show. I just got to say that on the Vita, Persona 4 Golden is absolutely heads above everything else. The greatest game on the Vita. Dragon's Crown is second. So
Wow.
I
How
love
busty
it. Love
these
it, love it,
women
love
are.
it. Yeah, so the one I won't talk about. Yeah, I kind of get into that too. That's almost problematic, but I'm
It's
using
like
her
heavy
for the
metal.
playthrough right now too.
Yeah.
So and then I watched The Defenders episode 2. I don't know if I'm gonna watch anymore.
No, I didn't even try.
It's
terrible,
I
I'm
gotta be honest,
sorry.
Like, I feel like I'm done with the Netflix shows. Like
I
they're
watched
just-
Jessica Jones and that's it.
Yeah, it seems like it's only like we finished watching. I watched it with the wife, and we finished it. I was like, man, that kind of sucked. And she was like, actually, I thought it was kind of cute. And I was like, oh, it's kind of cute, but I wouldn't call it good. And she was like, yeah, I agree. And that show's only good if you're comparing it to like Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it just feels like a slog, man.
It
You know, like it shouldn't feel like work if I'm watching a show.
Right. And I just, I still haven't watched The Preacher and stuff yet. Like, there's too much good stuff out there for me to watch the mediocre stuff
Exactly.
anymore.
That's it.
So, yeah, I don't know. It is. We'll see. But through episode 2, it's awe is where I feel.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely watch The Preacher over that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I watched it. I had nothing to watch when I watched it, so I don't have cable. That was the only thing on television that I had to watch. So I got through it, but I wouldn't make it a must-watch recommendation or anything.
Sure. And Iron Fist continues to be terrible. God, everybody else I can kind of get behind a little bit, but fucking that guy is so boring, and it's kind of about him. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not good. And then last night watched a horror movie called Honeymoon. Anybody watch this?
Mm-mm. What year?
I think it's 2014.
Okay.
So it's starring Jon Snow's wildling love
You're
interest.
good? Yeah.
His
Yeah.
real love
Yep.
interest.
It's real. Yep.
Yeah. So starring her on
Rose Leslie.
a horror movie that I won't get into spoilers, But I will say I really enjoy watching horror movies, and most of them I walk away from saying, well, that was stupid, even though I'm like turning the lights on every room I walk through the house to get to the bathroom afterwards. But so like I liked that like being scared thing, but I think that most horror movies are garbage. Like when I finished watching this movie, I didn't think it was garbage. So
Wow.
I would suggest it to people to check it out.
What was the
Honeymoon
movie?
is what
Honeymoon?
it's called. Yep.
2014.
Honeymoon.
Yep.
Yep. So yeah, it's a good movie. So yeah, that's my week.
Sweet. Sweet.
Pew.
All right, it's the Wookiee Weekly. Give us the Wookiee howl. So first bit of news this week for Star Wars. JJ's back. Episode
Yay.
9, they fired the director, hired JJ. What are our thoughts? Jeff, kick it off.
I think it'll be good. I mean, it'll be a way to cap the 9 movies.
Yeah.
And the
And before-
reboot and the rebirth. Better as to say. I think it's gonna bookend it, because you're gonna have the person that started the new vision, his artistic vision, and then he's gonna be able to finish it up. And I think it's gonna be consistent.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't try to recreate Jedi. I mean, I was happy with him recreating all the humor and everything from episode 4 in episode 7, but I think after 8, I think at this point it's on its own, and it should be able to just be a baby Groot.
Corey?
I'm cool with it. I mean, I know a lot of people. I know there's a petition to get him out as the director, and there's a lot of haters. Everybody's pissed about it because so many people thought episode 7 was a remake of 4, and they didn't think he changed it enough. But
So
I liked
that.
episode 7. Yeah, so
Yeah,
so
I
I'm
love
cool
that.
with it. I really liked episode 7. And I thought The Force Awakens was great. I think I said it's my favorite Star Wars. So I'm totally cool with it. Apparently the masses are not, but I'm down with it.
The masses are just basement dwellers with a keyboard.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
And
honestly,
there's an opinion for every color of the rainbow.
I mean, that seems like the majority opinion is that people are against it.
that's just
I don't
what
know.
I try the most. I don't know. I think I thought it was great that episode 7 was much in line with episode 4. I think it was a way to appease lifelong fans and get them back into it. And I was really, Force Awakens was up there until I watched Rogue One, and then I was like, oh well,
Yeah.
I like Rogue One too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with all that 100%. I feel like it is, Corey is kind of right. The internet sentiment is anti
Wow. I had no idea.
Force Awakens, and I couldn't disagree more. I feel like we live in a post prequels world now, and episode 7 was so much better. It blew away my expectations. Do I
Yeah.
have complaints about it? Yes.
Yeah.
But when I go back and watch it, I love it. I in particular, Ray and Finn, I just love
Yeah.
them. They're
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
awesome. Like there's points
Yeah.
where they even like choke me up and stuff, or where they're just friggin' acting their asses off in that, and I love it.
Definitely.
Dirk?
Yeah. No, I think it's I'm actually totally cool with him coming back. It might work the same way that 4 and 6 feel like they're very similar,
Yeah.
sort of in tone.
Yep.
You know, I think it might end up being like that.
Yeah,
where,
I feel
you know.
we talked about it from the one trailer that we've seen so far. Also, The Last Jedi is Empire Strikes Back. There's so many parallels that you can draw from the 2 minutes that we've seen of that movie. That, and I'm 100% okay with that. Make these movies a remake of the original trilogy. I don't give a shit at all. I still am gonna go and enjoy the hell out of them, and then branch off from there. Even you know what I mean?
Even if it's safe. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
because I would say it's a little safe doing that, taking that template and just recreating it. But I would much more be safe than sorry. as the
right,
prequels
right, yeah,
have
absolutely.
shown us.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
Well, and you look at if you make it so that 4, 7, and then 6 and 9 are parallels, and even 5 and 8 are parallels, that makes sense because now you're giving that sense of history repeats itself.
Yep.
You know, the
Yeah.
history repeats itself, but if you can learn enough from the mistakes, you may alter the outcome of history or the future.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the glaring things with the prequels was that it was a reverse order. You had little Annie and everything's happy and there's Jar Jar and it's just lightsabers melting doors and shit. And then the middle one's sort of like, let's just see how much clothes we can rip off of Natalie Portman and still give it under an R rating. And then you get that really darkness at the end that you saw in episode 5. And the depressing portion of it, by watching just Anakin get destroyed by Obi-Wan.
That was a
I
great
think that
analysis
was
there, Jeff. I like that. I like the whole thing, the whole 1 through 9. I'm down. All right, so the episode 9, they did also announce the date change. They moved it. It was slated to come out in May. They moved it back to December 20th, 2019.
2019.
Yeah, so good. Give him some extra time, right?
Yeah.
Let him play with the script and do whatever he wants with it. Sort of.
Well, you have
I
to.
want them to space it out more, to be honest. I'm scared that we're gonna drown. Yeah,
Well,
I don't
we
want
absolutely
to.
will. This is
Yeah.
Disney, right? We're gonna.
Yeah.
10 years from now, there will be 3 Star Wars movies a year, for sure.
Yeah.
There will be. There just will be. All right. So
And they are
you
gonna
have
suck.
one in here. What do you got? Where'd you find this?
They're not gonna suck. Marvel movies are good.
What is it?
Oh,
The comic. There's a new Star Wars comic coming out. That's gonna. I guess the one of the planets that's gonna be introduced in The Last Jedi. But it's coming out before the movie, I think. So
I like
again.
More fucking spoilers. I'm trying to forget.
Yeah, like I
Yes.
didn't even want to read the article about the comic about the planet from Last Jedi because I
Yeah.
knew like they're gonna leak into something or bring me somewhere, and I'm reading a sentence that I shouldn't have read.
Yeah.
So I just saw the headline. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna report it. Leave it at that. It looks. I mean, the art looks great. It has Luke on it. I don't know if they're going back in time, if it's following up the Star Wars series now, or if it's a planet that's going to be introduced in Last Jedi.
Cool.
Oh, well, it's
Cool.
gonna be introduced in the comics. Sounds like.
In the comic, yeah. I guess cinematically it'll be introduced.
They did really
I
good
wouldn't,
with
I wouldn't say
Shattered
that's.
Empire.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's spoilers if it's like Shattered Empire or something.
Yeah, if they pull it off like that, I thought that was great. I thought that was
Mhm.
really good. So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, that's your Rookie Weekly. Lots of video game news this week. This is going to be another long-ass episode. I knew it would be before we even started. It is what it is. I'm done with worrying about it. So, first of all, the new Metroid game released this week, the 15th. I'm absolutely excited about it. I didn't get it on day one, even though I almost did. I drove by GameStops and somehow pulled myself away from it because I knew I didn't have time for it right now. I'm going to get this game around Christmas, though, for sure. Who would have thought that we would be able to say in 2017 there'd be a new Zelda, a new Mario, and a new Metroid game coming out in the same year? You know what I mean? It's a huge year if you're into those great Nintendo franchises. The other game that came out this week of note is PUBG on Xbox One.
Player Underground.
Yep, and Microsoft has locked it down, so we're not going to get it on the PlayStation, and that's officially the first game where I wish I had an Xbox. The first one out of all these years that we've been in this generation.
It's pretty hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a pretty hot game. I've been watching. I'm part of a Discord channel that plays that, and
Oh yeah, everybody
watched-
talks about that.
yeah.
Yep. So I feel like
I've seen plenty of videos. I don't really care about that game.
It's another
I do.
first-person shooter. I think that
I want to play it.
I think we lost Nate. I think that one of the things they were touting, I saw the news, was that they had 1.5 million concurrent connections on the server, which
They beat
is
Dota
just
for that week.
that's just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I hear it's shitty. You'll load into a map with no textures on buildings and all kinds of glitches.
I don't care. I still want to play it. So then we were talking, the Nintendo Direct dropped this week. We do not have enough time. We could spend a whole show breaking down all the stuff that happened in that Direct. Really, really cool how they pack so much news into so little time. And so just a few kind of highlights that I wanted to go over. First of all, the 3DS is on its last legs, but it is not dead yet. They talked about probably 10 different things that are exciting if you're a 3DS owner. The next thing was 2 badass looking RPGs. So Switch exclusives. The first one, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I had zero interest in this until I watched this video, and then I was like, damn, that looks great.
Yeah, I thought it looked good in the trailer, and you said it looked terrible.
Well, I take it all back. I really do. Just the different, it looks like, what is it, Howl's Moving Castle? Where all the different worlds
Studio
are
Ghibli.
on the backs of these gigantic
Yeah,
monsters
that
and
was an
stuff.
interesting concept.
Yeah, and just each one looked different and whatnot.
Mhm.
Looked really, really great. The next one is they say it's tentatively titled, and because it's a terrible name, the Project Octopath Traveler, and it very, very cool art style where there's like 2D sprites and they really play with like the focus and the shadows of it a lot.
Yeah.
HD2D.
Yeah, right, exactly. This game is from the people who made Bravely Default, which got like really good
It's from
reviews.
Square Enix.
Yeah, from Square, and this is their like, okay, you don't like the new Final Fantasy games. You wish that it was 20 years ago and you're playing Final Fantasy IV still. This is the game for you,
3.
sort of thing.
It
Right?
looks very Final Fantasy 3.
Yeah.
I almost want to.
6.
I almost want to buy it because I was like, "Oh man, I love that game."
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see why people just bitch and nowadays about games, and
For sure.
let's just throw them back into Pong and then see them bitch.
Right. And then it appears, the other point that I wanted to make after this direct is that it appears as though all the companies that were kind of waiting to see how well the Switch sold are slowly getting on board. Besides those 2 games, we've got NBA 2K18, FIFA 18, LA Noire, Doom, Skyrim, and then Wolfenstein 2 all coming out on the Switch this year. So the third-party developers, the third-party developers are getting involved. And yeah, Skyrim's rolling out.
Bethesda, 2K.
Skyrim, well, and EA and Square, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's.
They just wanna,
We're
like-
getting to be everybody.
Yeah.
To me, like, okay, Skyrim is what it is. Wolfenstein 2, though, is the most notable of all of those because for them, that's a new game that's coming out now on the PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah.
They're going to downscale it so that it plays on the Switch because they think they can sell enough copies. And
It's probably their biggest game of the year.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And I just feel like that's very good news for Switch owners if that's happening. If you're getting, I never thought we'd see a day where you saw the hottest current console game on the Switch that's not Nintendo, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it's happening.
No, it's good.
So
It's important to have competition, You don't want
and-
Sony owning everything. So
Right. And me and Corey have talked about it in the past. We wish that Nintendo was just another PlayStation 4 that had Nintendo exclusives on it. If that were the case, I'd buy it. If they had all the third-party games and the first-party games were Nintendo, then I would buy a Nintendo instead of a Sony one. I would pick Zelda, Mario, Metroid over Uncharted and whatnot, coming out in Gran Turismo or you know what I mean, coming out on the PlayStation.
And if they would not try and make something fancy about it and just make it a high-powered console like the rest of them,
But
it sucks that
clearly-
it has to be downscaled or whatever,
Clearly, they're not doing that, but whatever is what it is.
It is what it is.
It
Next-
is what it is.
Next bit of news was the Destiny expansion that was leaked a week and a half ago has been officially confirmed by Bungie's marketing director on Twitter. The first expansion will be called Curse of Osiris. For those of you who did not play Destiny 1, that's a callback to the hardcore PvP version of Destiny 1. Trials of Osiris, right. So
no, it's the Trials of the Nine.
now it's the Trials of the Nine, yep. And so we're getting a little bit hopefully it's a cool backstory between, before that was just, okay, it's called the Trials of Osiris. What the hell does that mean? Who cares? I don't know. They're never going to tell me. Like, now they're actually going to tell us. So I'm fired up for that.
Yeah.
The next bit of news was that, so the website page for Altus Tokyo Game Show coverage put Dragon's Crown, what did they call it? Dragon's Crown Pro was on a banner in the background of an interview that they had. So, again, I was talking earlier in the show, Dragon's Crown, fucking great high fantasy game, is coming to PS4. And I cannot stress enough how awesome this is. I'm not going to buy it because I'm loving it so much in my Vita right now, but for all those of you who do not play Dragon's Crown, fuck, it is awesome. You need to play it. The art is so cool and unlike anything else in games. So I'm going to try and, if I have time, I'm going to put some of the art over this part of the show so that everybody can see what I'm talking about. But just really cool stuff. The opening artwork, the character design, the dungeons they do. When you go out to the open world and you pick where you're going to go, it kind of spins around and it looks like Monty Python animation where it's got the different layers of stuff moving and whatnot. And then
I'm in.
Yeah, and then just really cool. I love it. You resurrect bones that you find and turn them into party members that fight alongside you. And they have a really cool scene where they'll have all the bones laid out on the table and all these cherubs come in from above. And it's awesome. I love it. Love it to death. So I just want to.
I love high fantasy, so I'm in.
Yeah, I think you'll really like it for sure.
Sweet.
Journey's developer, that game company, announced their follow-up. Dirk, you threw that in here?
Yeah. I mean, for all the Journey lovers, I'm not really, I'm not crazy about Journey, but
did you play it?
Journey?
I did. Yeah.
Oh, Journey.
I feel like
Journey.
Journey's one of the most overrated games of all time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Journey
Yes.
No, absolutely. And to increase the suck on that, this is a mobile game. So they're actually, they switched. They had all this, I guess, hype about their follow-up to Journey, and they decided to go mobile. So everybody's like, wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, fuck that, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a big bummer.
Yeah, they debuted it at the Apple show. So
They're just riding on that cash cow.
yeah, it's gonna be in the iOS store, and there you go.
All right, and then the
Follow
final
to
bit of
Journey.
news: the SNES / NES
Yes.
Classic News of the Week.
Yeah.
I think we all saw this. Yes.
Yeah. So they're going to extend the number. They're releasing more NES classics next summer, and then the volume of SNES being released this year, they're going to increase the number. But
So-
come on,
It's
if
too
you're
little
still
too
in
late.
on that, it's like, come on, what are you?
Reggie came out and said, "Don't pay scalper prices for the SNES because we're going to have enough of them," is what he said. And then, like 3 days later, they announced that they're going to re-release the NES Classic the next year, sort of thing.
I mean, are they going to sell like 20 more? It's not going to change the price unless they like sell, produce a lot more. I don't know.
Yeah,
demand is too high for it.
yeah. So I feel like the problem is not that. It's the problem is that NES Classic comes out, is the hottest thing. You can't pre-order it. You can't buy it.
Yeah.
You never see it in a store ever, and then they discontinue it. Then they announce the SNES Classic. They do a pre-orders for it in the middle of the night. Nobody can get the pre-orders on it. Nobody can find one of these things. And then they come back and say, "Oh no, don't worry about it. We're going to get you a bunch of these." Like that's not how you fucking do it. If
Right.
when you discontinue the first one, you say we don't have the bandwidth to manufacture enough of these. We're going to again in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's your plan, right?
Yeah.
They botched the rollout. And now that level of interest is gone. It's
Yep.
sailed. You
And
know,
they're just trying to save face, and they're trying to reclaim their debacle just before Christmas hits. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Sure.
And look, I'll give you a perfect test example of the market that they could have had and has already left is, so my wife was interested in getting one initially.
Our sister
Now
was.
she doesn't even know about the SNES and definitely doesn't care about either.
Right.
Because we don't know when there's another one coming or how much it's going to, eventually be.
Yeah,
So-
if my sister could walk into a store and pick one up, she would. But it's
Yeah,
like that
right.
will never happen, right?
Yeah.
Like it's weird. It's freaking weird.
It's very
I
weird.
don't get it. It just turned into this real niche collector thing that people just want to fight over each other to get so that they can have it on their shelf. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Stupid.
Yeah.
It is. It's dumb.
Totally.
And it's dead.
Yeah.
Dead.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about it anymore.
You died, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yay! Jump on that bandwagon with me, Derek.
Okay, wait a second.
Jeff
So,
jumping
now-
like Mario.
Hold on. So I almost hit stop on the recording, and Jeff's cheering there. I got to ask you, Jeff. So, we comically make fun of your hatred of Mario from one sentence that you said, but you do own a Wii U, which
I do.
most people on Earth did not, and I own a Wii U, and I really like it. We gave you a hard time over the not liking Mario stuff. Like, what's your official Nintendo stance that's not just sarcasm?
This is
awesome.
I mean,
What-
honestly,
On the books.
honestly, I grew up on Nintendo. I mean, 1984, dude, that was like the greatest thing in the world was play Super
Absolutely.
Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt and try and shoot that stupid fucking dog.
Master.
And Blaster Man. So I love classic Mario. When I have time, I play Mario Maker on the Wii U. And my son wants me to play the 10 and 100 Mario Challenge because I told him I'm a Mario Master.
Right.
It was more my whole stand on Mario at this point is because they keep just
It's like over
putting it out there and
commercialization of
and
Mario.
the stupid rabbits, and I get tired of it. I get tired of it. But
So what about
I,
like Nintendo and the Switch and whatnot? Like, where do you
I
stand?
do, but I've played the Switch and it's not for me.
Okay.
I just, I do like what Nintendo's going, but I'm more tired of always buying new consoles like every 3 fucking years
Sure.
to keep up with the games.
Yep.
What
And
about Wario?
I've switched back and forth between Xbox and PlayStation, and I think now, overall, I'm more happy with what PlayStation and Sony is putting out, because I've loved PlayStation since I saw Resident Evil on the PS1.
Sure.
So,
Who's your favorite Mario character then? Bob-omb?
I'm a
I
Dry
like-
Bones guy.
I like Yoshi. I think I do like Yoshi.
Dry Bones.
Rosalina.
Rosalita.
Not really.
I mean,
Deep cut right there.
Mario Kart on the
I don't even
N64
know
was so
what it
fun
is
to
for.
play, dude. Mario Kart on the N64, 4-person split
Yeah.
screen,
Yeah.
get drunk, and just play the shit out of it. Battle mode.
Mario Kart's
That's been
Yeah.
your video game news of the week.
Comic news of the week. The big news jumping off. We got our first photo of David Harbour as Hellboy. Did y'all see it?
No.
You haven't seen it?
I put it in the Facebook page.
I mean, he looks It's
Like,
basically
yeah.
the same. Yeah,
It's the
he
same.
looks. There's no difference. I mean, he looks incredible, but it's like virtually the same as Homeboy doing it previously. So not much difference, but it is a great photo.
I see it. He does look pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Continuity.
Yeah, absolutely. Other news concerning that movie, the guy that quit over the whitewashing fiasco or whatever, got replaced by the dude from Lost, the Asian dude that didn't talk. I don't know if you remember
Daniel
on
Day
Lost.
Kim.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all lost.
He played Jin.
Yeah.
I've never
So,
I've never
and I
seen
think
it.
he's in that Hawaii Five-0 reboot.
He is. He's in Hawaii
Yeah,
Five-0,
yes.
which makes me happy.
This was interesting news. The Deadpool director is going to helm the James Cameron reboot of Terminator. Tim Miller.
Wow.
So, I mean, I don't
That's sweet.
take that as you will. It could be off. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. 'Cause
I don't know,
where
man.
James Cameron is now mentally.
I have a hard spot with reboots. These reboots that Hollywood are doing of movies.
But it is James Cameron.
It is.
Sort of. Look at it this way, Jeff. Like, we got George Miller that redid Mad Max. That's his product. We got
True. That was good. Fatal
the
Fury
remake of Blade Runner coming on the way, or not the remake, but sequel by the original creator. So it could be in that vein where we get like a good sequel of the original story, but because the original creator is involved. But
So is it reboot of Terminator or is it a continuation of the Terminator
they said
universe?
reboot, but they said number 6 also. So
See-
to me, that's a sequel, right?
Because I was pretty on board with Terminator. I could look past the glaring timeline holes and paradoxes.
Yeah.
But it's just that when I watched the last one, was it Terminator Genesis?
I didn't watch it.
And
It's the first one I didn't watch.
it was like, okay, so I've seen this before. They did a really good job of recreating the scenes from the original Terminator because they had to because of the timeline.
Yeah.
But it was just like, I'm like, you guys are trying to fix a fucking hole in a piece of sheetrock with gum at this point. You're fucking
It's just spaghetti. It's all over the place.
So I don't know, man. It's just, if it's like a continuation, you've got to get rid of Arnold. He's done as Terminator.
Yes, they would have to shore it up a lot. The last one that I saw that I liked was the one with the dude from
Bale?
Batman. Yeah, Christian Bale. Yeah,
That was
I
pretty
like
good.
that
I can't remember what the name of that one was. It was decent.
Yeah.
But it was better than the one where it was the T2000 or what it was, the chick, what's her nuts? I
Yeah.
can't remember her name. Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
And that
Never
was,
been a big
okay.
Terminator fan.
that was terrible. But
Sorry.
And Mother of Dragons was in one too, right?
The recent one.
the recent
Daenerys,
one, Genesis. Yep. It
Yeah.
took me a while to figure out it was her because she didn't have a blonde wig.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Corey, you should watch it.
Yeah. Maybe I'll watch that.
Next item, we got Matthew Vaughn is in talks to do the Man of Steel sequel. So, I don't know if people are into Man of Steel. I mean, I didn't think it was bad, or not as bad as people made it out to be.
I think it was the last good DC movie.
Yeah, I thought it was. I wasn't, again, DC has a way of ending their movies terribly, in my opinion. Like, I'm good on like 75% of it, and then I never like the endings. And that's sort of the same. I liked Man of Steel way more than I thought I would like it.
Suicide Squad was so good.
I still have to watch it.
It was not.
So Matthew Vaughn might be involved on that. He's in talks for it. Interesting little quirky story. Darren Aronofsky almost did a Batman Year One movie in 1999, which would have been amazing. And he had Joaquin Phoenix as his Batman. The reason I mention that is because apparently the story was so dark, according to Frank Miller, that like DC had wanted nothing of it. Frank Miller called it dark. He was like,
That's funny.
And that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my favorite Batman story.
Yeah, absolutely. Year one's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And then a merch item, because I'm totally getting this. Next year for Free Comic Book Day, Funko Pop's going to be releasing a Lion Cat doll from Saga. So,
Sweet.
Nice.
totally fucking in on that.
For Free Comic Book Day is what, May what? Of 20?
No, it's going to be for sale.
Right.
But
Okay.
that's
Not
the
for-
only day that they're going to allow it
Wow.
to be sold.
Oh, nice. Did you guys see who's going to be resurrected for Marvel Legacy?
No.
No. Oh, no. You know who it is?
Most people do now.
Spoilers, don't
I
go
don't
there. Don't do it.
I'm not going to go there.
I
I was just wondering if you guys saw.
didn't.
No, I haven't been following Legacy yet. I
Did
read
we
like
guess it?
two
Did one of us
issues.
guess it?
Wait.
Wait, don't say it. No, never mind. Don't say it.
Did I guess it? No.
Can't tell.
Was my guess wrong?
All right.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
I guess wrong.
Okay, I think that's it for comic news.
Well,
Yeah.
you got your picks.
Oh,
I just
my
wanna-
picks,
Before
yes.
before you start in your picks, I
Yeah.
want to throw down that I finally had a chance to check out some City Pop,
Yeah.
and I
right?
fucking love it. Man, it is so good. I just
Wow.
did the
Yes.
Spotify City Pop playlist,
Yeah.
and there's a couple stinkers on there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
all in all,
No,
I listened to
I
about
know
10
which ones.
songs, and 8 of them were like some of the greatest dance music I've ever listened to in my life.
It's really good.
were that good. Yeah, I loved it. Loved it. And the fact
I
that I
mean,
can't understand the lyrics makes it even better in most cases.
yes.
Because I don't care. I just want to get down.
No.
You know, I'm just
Yeah.
working in my desk.
I'm
and-
certain. I think I'm realizing that I'm falling in love with Japanese culture more and more. Like I just,
Should go to Japan together.
Yeah,
Jack.
we need to make
Yeah.
a comically gaming.
We should.
Yeah,
I'd love
business
to go
trip.
there.
Ah, dude. Yep.
be
Have,
amazing.
All right. We'll take it off the
Uh,
record. We'll take it off the record. We'll make-
Yep. Yeah, I listened
Do it.
to it on. When you texted me to listen to it, I listened to one song on my phone when I was up at that wedding. Sounded all right, but I need to hear it with
Yeah.
speakers.
There's a few
Fascinating.
specific songs I can recommend. Maybe I'll put a playlist up.
Alright.
Dirk's picks, just real quick. I don't have anything crazy. 30 Days of Night is an older comic book about vampires. With some great artwork that IDW did. They made a shitty movie out of it.
yeah.
But the comic is really, really good. And I think they're rebooting it with the original creators, or I don't know if it's going to be a sequel or just a redo of it. But check that out. Quick music recommendation. Zola Jesus has a new album named Akovi. If you're into goth stuff,
Okay. Is it like industrial or what?
it's not industrial. It's more like Chelsea Wolf-ish. It's sort of this like very
Gotcha.
ethic goth pop. If you can imagine stuff that would be played for the finale of Game of Thrones.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So, I mean, I've been listening to it nonstop, to be honest, but and I don't even normally gravitate towards that style of music, but the album's just fucking good.
I'll check it out. You steered me right on City Pop, I gotta say, so I'll definitely check it out.
Just listen. Look, I won't even recommend the entire album for everybody, but listen to the second track on that Akovi album, and
Okay.
it is blistering.
All right.
It's amazing. Last thing, Guillermo del Toro has a new movie coming out called The Shape of Water. If you haven't watched the trailer, check it out. It looks really solid. If you like del Toro stuff, I mean,
I do.
it looks really, really good. So, that's it.
Nate's picks this week. This album.
Oh.
The lights,
Dude, how much is that
the light
worth?
is messing it up. Miko's Star Wars Disco. I cannot recommend enough.
Have I heard that before?
Look this jam up because it's a jam.
That's awesome.
Who's Star Wars stuff?
Miko. MECO.
All right.
Yeah, it rocks.
Sweet.
Yep. All right, so that's the picks for the week. Next, we're
Sweet.
gonna introduce. We're gonna do a spotlight for a YouTube channel, Bad to the Bone. This guy hooked up with me on Twitter, checked out some of his stuff, really liked it. So, do a quick interview. Without any further ado. All right, everybody. This week we got a special guest. Preston's joining us from his YouTube channel, Bad to the Bone. Me and Preston met over, I believe, over Twitter the first time.
Yeah.
You know, but been checking out everybody's channels. Clearly, a gaming YouTuber out there.
Yeah.
I know, Preston, if you want to just take a minute or two and just kind of describe what you do and.
Yeah, sure. So basically, I like to make, of course, gaming videos, all sorts of type. I mainly do PS4 videos currently, but I'm trying to branch over to PC because I just started Twitch a little bit just to get out there, find some more people watching, maybe spread a little. I'm mainly trying to just reach people I'm trying to shorten my videos up, just a good laugh, you know what I mean? Just
Right.
have some giggles, I guess, just gather around. It's almost like I want to build a small community, kind of like we could have discussions, kind of like what you guys do, but in like a smaller sense,
Sure.
maybe grow community.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
That's awesome. So,
Right.
I like the kind of the variety of games that you cover on your channel.
Yeah.
How do you choose the games that you play?
Well, I don't want to do the same consistent game because, people get bored. There's a lot of new stuff coming up. Got to stay relevant. But also, if you venture back to some, classicer games, I want to get into some of the classic games, kind of like, not super classic, but like, if I could get back on the PS3, jump into some Battlefield maybe, like Bad Company and some other stuff like that. So basically, I get into it basically by getting on a group chat with a couple of guys, and I go, all right, what do we want to play today? Basically, that's how I do it.
Oh, cool.
When did you start everything? When did you start streaming? Why did you decide to start doing this?
For the most part, I just want to get more viewers on my YouTube.
Yeah.
For the most part, but also you get to contact your community straight there, the chat. So it works real well talking to back and forth,
Yeah. How long has your channel been going?
About a month, I'd say, starting young, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
You guys been going for a year, you said? A year?
Yeah, I think we're about
Yeah.
close to a year
A
and a
little
half.
over there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it started
You
with
guys are
just me and Corey, and we pulled these guys in slowly over the
Trapped in
year.
the quagmire. No, I was gonna ask you, Preston. What? I like that intro, your logo intro for your show. What did you use for that to do your logo?
The one where it moves up and down, that one?
Yeah. What software did you use for that?
Yeah.
Well, I watched a YouTube video because, when you start YouTube, you don't know how to do anything at all.
Yeah.
And there's a software called, I could link it to you guys. I don't have it on me right now, but it's a website, and they have presets. Is what
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Cool.
and I searched for about an hour, and I was like, they got those flashy presets. When you go onto YouTube and it's like the letters are spinning and it's got like your words banging and the
Yes.
music's killing it. I don't like
Yeah.
I don't like them. I don't like those
Yeah.
intros. So
Right.
I searched for a while.
I think-
and found a nice.
Simple. Yeah, I like just simple, effective, short. It's something that's consistent every time.
Yeah,
So,
if you
yeah.
watch it a
Cool.
lot of YouTube, those get a little samey after the while too.
Yeah.
I do.
that-
Yeah. Yep. Cool.
That is definitely good to know because I do want to spice up our intro to Labyrinth Lifers.
Yes.
Yeah, but so Preston, how do you try and make your videos different from other YouTubers and other channels just to try and generate more subscribers and more hits?
Well, I like to, you of course, have a different variety of games, as like I was saying, but also I'd say the difference would be the humor. You guys guess I could say like when you're playing games with, I guess, younger kids. I mean, I'm not super young. I'm only 16. You know what I mean? So I kind of just want to build up. You see all these YouTubers and they all play the same game. So you have, let's say, 6 YouTubers and they all play the same game and it's the same stuff.
Mhm.
But I'm trying to change it so everything's different. You don't know what's happening, and I really trying to get a base to where every video is going to be completely different. But you only get learn so much. If you want to learn something new, it could take an hour, 2 hours just to figure that out, that one piece. So it takes a lot of effort, but I'm still working on it just by changing it up. So diversity is what I would say for that answer.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
Important.
Yeah, I do.
Make up
100%.
something. Yeah.
So we will link your channel down in the description of this video. We're doing this audio version of this on podcast services now as well. So if you're listening to the audio version of this, everybody hop over to YouTube. Our channel over there in the description of the video, you'll be able to get the link to all Preston stuff. So it's called Bad to the Bone, correct?
Yeah, beat to the bone, bad to the bone.
So, and then do you want to just real quick spit like Twitter, your the channel address, things like that for people that are just listening on audio?
Sure, I guess I could plug in some stuff.
Yeah, do it.
I guess my Twitter would be, it's weird because someone had my Twitter already. So it's @bone, beat to the bone, and that's basically how that would be, bone, beat to the bone. And then my YouTube is just, beat to the bone.
Cool.
Straight up, that's it.
Cool. With
Nice.
number
Cool.
2, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
B to the bone. Yeah,
Right. Gotcha. All right, man. Well, thanks for joining us.
yeah, no problem.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
we'll see you.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, by the way.
Thanks, Preston.
Absolutely. All right, that was great. Thank you so much again, Preston, for joining us. Everybody, check out his channel.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's what it is. So every week we do a shout out to our YouTube community. If you're listening to the audio version of this, go over to our YouTube channel. Everybody else, in the description of this video, we share the links to the channels of people who subscribed to us this past week. We go check out their stuff. If it's cool, if it fits kind of what we do or whatnot, then we link it to the show. And so, click on their stuff, hit subscribe on it. They subscribe to us, support the people that support us and support you and support the world, make it spin. We all get together. We
Like
do
a
this
record.
thing. Yep. So this week, I wanted to give my shout out to Elevated Vlogs. These guys are also in Colorado Springs. And
Sweet.
yeah, I noticed they had a video where they went up to the Manitou Penny Arcade, which is the best place, one of the best places on earth to go to if you're down with pinball and old school arcade.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
So yeah, as soon as
Yes.
I saw that, boom, they're good in my book.
Yeah. There was an arcade at the wedding I went to, and they had one pinball machine, and it was broken. It was the worst arcade I've ever been.
Oh man, what? Shout out to Mr. Rocker Vlogs.
I'm down with rockers, even though I'm a mod. No, I'm not a mod. I ride a scooter. I'm
got a
still
scooter?
Okay with rockers.
Yeah. At Michigan Saying Hello show.
The
Fellow Michiganders
Say
show.
hello show. You gotta hook up with them.
I know.
The Michigan YouTube community live event.
That's right.
What?
All right. So we got 3 this week. Name of the week. I'm gonna go with Elevated
Michigan
Vlogs.
Saying Hello show.
Oh yeah.
I'm doing Michigan. Michigan.
Michigan.
What you got, Jeff?
Mr. Rocker's Vlogs.
Oh
Just-
man, okay.
Look at that.
The Michigan St.
Michigan wins out.
They win. Game.
Yep.
Name of the week. There we go. Thanks everybody. Really appreciate the support.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So
Sure.
finally, just
The
want to
stuff.
really quick. If you watch our show, we do a lot of other things all over the internet. YouTube channel, if you listen to the audio version of this, is youtube.com/GCANDC. If you're watching us on YouTube, we also do an audio version of this. Put it on your phone or whatnot. Listen to it while you're driving around town, or you're doing your
That's what I
workout,
do.
or you're doing your dishes, or whatever it is that you do that's totally boring as hell. Listen to some podcasts while you're doing it. It makes it a lot better. I
Yep.
used to hate doing the dishes. Now I love doing the dishes because I listen to podcasts the whole time. Anyways, we're on iTunes, we're on Stitcher, we're on Google Play. Hit us up there. You can also find us on Podiant. So GCANDC.podiant, PODIANT.co. Not com. CO.
Nice.
Our website, gamescomicsandculture.wordpress.com. Email us, gamescomicsandculture@gmail.com. Still waiting on that email. It says a comment about the show or ask a question that we can make it happen. On Twitter, we're at GCANDC. I'm at Darth Nader, DARTH_N8R.
At CJ Closter, KLOSTER.
At SonarGod, SONARG0D.
0D. At
0D.
Mosquatch, MOSSQUATCH.
We're on Instagram nowadays, Games, Comics, and Culture, all one word.
Hot.
Facebook group and Discord, that's where it's at, really, to be honest. If you're down, that's where you go, because we got a pretty active community and everybody's very nice and cool with each other, so check that out. Support us, patreon.com/GCANDC. $1 a month can go towards making this product
$1.
so much nicer.
Make you
we
holla.
have microphones, we can get computers. We'll make you holla.
Hot, dude.
And as always, thank you to Fred Thomas for our opening music. Thank you to C. Ryder for our logo. Really appreciate that.
Try and make the whole show, Dirk, without just... What do you gotta say?
Welcome to the full spoilers discussion on Preacher season finale.
Preacher season finale, the Extravaganza.
Yeah, me and Dirk were unfortunately the only ones who were able to watch it. His mate sucks. I don't know if Jeff's even started watching it.
No, I don't think he has.
But yeah,
Man.
wild one, huh?
Wild. And you know, like, this puts it up there for me. It was already up there with Legion for me, but this is like some Game of Thrones level a plot twist.
Right.
You know, like, wow. I mean, I don't think we have to go in. We can just go in order of the crazy shit that happened. But Tulip, you know, I was nervous that she was dead. Like, she was done.
Yeah, so was
Yeah.
I. Yep, I forgot all about how the episode started when she got shot, but then it's kind of a weird cliffhanger. I feel like, I mean, because he's got to bring her back, right? That was the whole point of the beginning, right? She's not really dead. So now we get to see a vampire, a zombie, and the voice preacher as a squad together. So,
yeah, and the thing, I think this is a shout out to the people that read the comic book too. One of the guys that's in that truck that pulls up that gets his money is his cousin Jody. And Jody plays a big part. Jody and his grandmother both play a huge part in the book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was going to
ask you, did this happen in the book? Did she get shot?
No. I don't think she... If she did, it happened after I stopped reading it. But they did introduce the grandmother and Jody before any of this happened. So maybe it happened after. But the thing that they'll probably carry over to the show that was introduced in this episode is that his family is into some dark, evil shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like... He hates his family, and he's sort of terrified of them at the same time. I just don't know how dark they're going to get with his family on the show, but apparently, I mean, all the flashbacks to his grandmother doing that fucked up shit to him.
Yeah, and the coffin in the lake.
Yeah, yeah. I think that they're going to probably just introduce that all in Season 3.
Yeah. Yeah, because this season was the first time we even saw his grandma. I mean, before that, the only thing we saw of his family was his dad getting shot. And we didn't even know he really had a weird grandma or anything.
Dude, I thought Tulip was dead for sure, though. I mean, she is, but I thought Ruth Negga was done. Like, this was her way of getting out of the show. Because, you know, her star is rising, right? She's been in, like, a big movie that got award talk. She's like all like on these fashion mags and stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought like this was her way of exiting the show, and I was fucking bummed.
Yeah.
But I think she's gonna be there next season. I'm pretty, you know.
Yeah, once you see the chicken cross the road, you know she gotta be back. I mean, otherwise, what was the point of all that? But so yeah, 2 big deaths. Well, That was obviously the biggest, but then
Yeah.
Dennis. Yeah.
Dennis.
Dennis kind of had to go. I felt like
He had to. Well, I knew it was the writing was on the wall. The second he was made into a vampire,
Yeah.
I saw it. You know, he was going to go out one way or another.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, man. This goes back to why this show's so incredible. The scenes of Cassidy like working it out in his head
Yeah.
were fucking brilliant, dude. When he's sitting there like looking at the computer and looking at the sites, those vampire sites,
Yeah.
and he's like figuring out like what he did and how wrong it was and how like these terrible choices that he made. That's fucking phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
Just, dude, incredible
So
show.
good. Yeah, just the subtle things like that in the show are what make it so awesome. Yeah. And then that made Cassidy have a few urges of his own.
Yes. Yeah. That's why you get the nightmare of him.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Eugene getting out of hell.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Made it out.
And also releasing Hitler with him.
Yeah, we just took off. Got hit by a car.
Fucking awesome. And for a second, like Vanessa, my wife, and I we were sort of like wondering, well, what happened? You know, like why did he take off running? And I think he's gonna start being Hitler again, like real Hitler.
You
like
think?
not friendly Hitler. Now that he's out of hell, he's gonna go back to being like.
It's probably all just an act to get out of hell. Yeah.
Dude, that's so awesome.
That was probably his plan all along, because to use Eugene to get out of hell to become Hitler again.
Absolutely. Eugene got played.
Yeah, he got him out, but we'll see.
Yeah.
That Hitler storyline's awesome so far.
Oh, absolutely. And the Sharon shit was fucking funny when he started talking.
Oh, yeah.
Standing there, like, looming over him all dark and shit, and then he starts talking about... He's like, what happened to you?
Yeah.
This
pre-existing. That was so good.
Dude, just an incredible show. And there was not one episode in the entire season that felt like filler or lacked. Yeah. It was just taut. I mean, if Netflix needs to get... I mean, the Marvel crew, watch this show and, like, figure out that's how you do pacing.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. Yep,
sure.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite scene from the season? I'm trying to think back. There's one in particular that I thought was amazing, but...
I don't know. What was yours?
There was an episode, I think, like 3 or 4 back. Do you remember when the guys that work for the crew in white, like those army dudes, showed up and they had the headphones on so they couldn't hear him talk?
Yeah.
And it was shot from that guy's perspective in the dark.
In the silence.
So fucking sick.
Yeah, that was so sick.
I don't know another show that's done something like that. You know, like there was no music. There was only, his perspective and people like beaming in to talk to him, and him getting it in the headphones.
Yeah,
I sat there in awe, like, wow. Yeah. I mean, that was just fucking incredible.
So good. Yep.
Yeah,
that was totally awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to go back and think about it.
There's so many. Yeah, it's
so
just
many.
tough to choose.
So good. Yep. But great season.
Yeah, absolutely. Great season in the books. Cannot wait for season 3.
Yeah.
I'm sure. If they keep it up, it's going to be another amazing season. All those actors are great too.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone of them.
Yeah. I mean, Cassidy's fantastic.
Cassidy's probably the best, right?
I love that they don't tone his Irish accent down. They just let him like talk.
Maybe his scene with the angel.
Oh yes. God, I forgot about that. So many. I mean, this is one of those shows that I can go back and watch the season again at some point. It was that good. So,
for sure.
Thank y'all so much for checking it out with us. Looking forward to season 3.
Catch us for season 3 next year.
Absolutely. Finding God season 3.
Yeah,
we'll hit you up then.
About it. Right. Later. Thanks for watching
Sweet.
the episode. See y'all next week.
Later.
Later.